And we're back! I wasn't gone that long, was I? On with the show. Just before we get started, I just want to say that this is only a shot in the dark. There's hundreds of theories you could come up with about Undertale, and maybe plenty more accurate than this one. However, it's fun to speculate as only one person knows what the truth is. So, without further ado, there's something a little odd about some of the monsters in the underground. You have Toriel and Asgore, both dreamers. They're tall, white and furry. Though they're not particularly scary, you can see why you might refer to them as monsters. After all, they are almost double the human size. Then there's Alphys and Undyne. One is a dinosaur reptile scientist thing, and the other is... a fish, and they're both clearly monsters. Finally, we come to the likes of Papyrus, Sans, Metaton, Napstablook and the Mad Dummy. It's perfectly normal in video games for undead creatures to be classified as monsters, nothing strange about that. But hold on a moment, where do undead creatures come from? Well, from dead humans. They could be undead monsters, but then we know that monsters don't leave a body when they die. Instead, they're reduced to ashes. Now, while Papyrus theorises that humans evolved from skeletons, or maybe the other way around, something tells me that's probably not true. So the question is, are these guys humans that have been reanimated from the dead? Well, let's take a look at the facts. Asgore collected 6 souls that represented the following characteristics: patience, perseverance, integrity, bravery, kindness, and justice. We learn that these are the traits they represent by playing the ball game in Snowdin. Coincidentally, when we fight Papyrus and Sans, they turn our soul a deep dark blue, the colour of integrity. When we fight Undyne, she turns our soul green, the colour of kindness. And when we fight Muffet, she turns our soul purple, the colour of perseverance. When we fight Metaton, Alphys turns our soul yellow, the colour of justice, and we gain the ability to shoot. So what relevance does all that have? Maybe we could argue that you show integrity in sparing Papyrus, kindness in reviving Undyne with the water cooler, perseverance in getting past Muffet's web, and enact justice by making Metaton overload, therefore preventing him from killing you. It should also be noted that the last 2 colours, orange and light blue, are only seen during certain fights. You have to move to avoid orange attacks, showing bravery, and stay still during light blue attacks, showing patience. So we know what the human souls represent, but what does that have to do with the undead monsters? Well, is it possible that the souls once belonged to them? When fighting Flowey, we occasionally have to confront the souls he consumed in order to free them from his control. If we pay close attention to the attacks being used during these parts of the fight, we get some insight into the types of humans the souls once belonged to. For example, the green soul attacks us with what appears to be frying pans and hot oil. Now who loves cooking and also happens to be extremely kind? When we fight the Mad Dummy, a ghost possessing a training dummy, it becomes frustrated with its useless minions and eventually resorts to hurling a knife at us. Kind of like how we have to dodge spinning waves of knives when fighting the light blue heart. Also, doesn't the Mad Dummy strike you as someone who has gone completely insane? Maybe they used to be very patient, maybe too patient. We also find the belongings of the dead humans when traversing the underground. In Hotland, we discover a frying pan and an apron. We know that Papyrus has met Alphys, as he mentions her several times and attempts to use the colour-coded puzzle she devised while in Snowdin. So, it isn't much of a stretch to say that he's been to Hotland before. We also find an old tutu and ballet shoes while in Waterfall. Now, can you think of anyone who dances a bit like a ballet dancer? And just like how Metaton attacks us with his heel-tipped feet, we need to dodge belay heels during the blue heart phase of Flowey's fight. I'm not the only one who felt that he showed a lot of integrity in deciding he needed to stay and entertain monsters, am I? And if you survive the attack, you find that the stars have turned to music notes. During the Purple Soul fight, words fly across the screen. Also, it just so happens that Napstablook loves to write songs. And don't the white words make you think of some of the self-doubts that must plague the ghost? I also don't think that it's unfair to say that despite being extremely shy, Napstablook always perseveres. He saves you from the Mad Dummy, and at one point works up the courage to try and add you on the undernet, even though he quickly decides against it. So where does Sans fit into all of this? At first, it isn't immediately obvious. But who's the one who judges you at the end of the game? If you were extremely evil and killed every monster, it's Sans who attempts to stop you. Just like the yellow soul, Sans represents justice. That leaves just one soul unaccounted for: bravery. At first, I couldn't think of anyone it could be. We've been over all the undead monsters in the game, or have we? The mysterious Gaster may or may not even properly be in the game, but a lot of people agree that he's likely an undead monster of some sort if he does exist. Take a look at his sprite. The holes in the palms of his hands are exactly like the holes in the hands of the bravery fight. A black circle on white. Every human soul we see during the Flowey fight could have easily belonged to one of the undead monsters within the game. So what do you make of all this? Metaton is integrity, Napstablook is perseverance, Sans is justice, Papyrus is kindness, the Mad Dummy used to be patience, and Gaster his bravery. Our knowledge of Gaster is very limited, but what we do know is that he disappeared around the core one day. Could it be that while showing immense bravery, Gaster sacrificed himself for some greater good? If this theory is correct, it means all of our favourite undead monsters were originally humans. Asgore always seems like he never truly wanted to kill anyone. Is it possible that through some dark experiment that he had Alphys conduct, that they were brought back to life as monsters? I guess we'll never know. Well, that's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed the return of Underlab. It's possible that someone has created a theory similar to this one before. I'll be quite honest, I haven't checked. One way or another, it seems to be a very interesting possibility. Of course, it's equally possible to argue that Sans is a banana and Papyrus is an apple. It's all in good fun. Chances are that Undertale's mysteries will never truly be explained, but who knows? See you next time.